Hi friends, welcome back. You may recognize this thrift store because I came here a lot last year. It used to be my favorite thrift store, but after today's experience, I don't think I will ever come back here. One of the reasons I really loved this thrift store was it was off the beaten path. It was never too busy and the prices were really good. They used to have what was called fill a bag. You could fill a whole bag of clothes for $10, and then recently they had raised it to $12, which I understand, $2 more, not a huge deal. They would also have other sales all year round. Well, today I walked in and they were advertising today, fill a bag, $12. So as you can see, my cart is full of clothes. I probably had 2 to 3 bags worth of clothes here. And I shopped around and, looked at everything and went up to the cash register, and she starts ringing him up, and it's going really expensive. We're like going over $100. And I was like, whoa, why is it so high? And she's like kind of looking at me. I thought today was fill a bag for $12. She goes, it is. I said, then how is it possibly over 100? And she goes, oh, swimsuits don't count. I said, what do you mean? And she said, swimsuits don't count towards your fill a bag of clothing. They're separate. They're $5.99 each. I said, well, then you can forget it. I don't want any of the swimsuits. And so she put them aside. And then I said, so everything else is fill a bag except for swimsuits? She goes, no, pants aren't. They're $11.99. And jackets aren't. They're $15. And she just started excluding everything. And I said, so hang on a minute. I said, just so I understand, what counts for fill a bag? Out of all the clothes that I brought up here, what would count towards that? And she selected 3 t-shirts and said, these are fill a bag, $12. I said, so everything else is excluded except for t-shirts? I said, don't you guys think you should advertise fill a bag of t-shirts for $12? That's really misleading. And she's like, no, our regulars know. And it just rubbed me the wrong way because there was no signage, there's no pricing, and I had been coming here for several years at this point. And I just looked her straight in the face and I said, $3 or 3 t-shirts for $12 is just not worth it for me. And she goes, well, do you want to go look for more stuff? And I said, no. I said, I truly apologize that you had to take all those hangers off of all that clothing and you folded it up so nicely just for me to say no. I said, but I don't want any of this stuff. That is just so crazy to me that you guys would change all these policies and not put signs up or pricing or anything like that. And so I said, I do truly apologize that, you had to unfold all that and hang it all back up and everything. I said, but I won't be buying anything today. And I put everything back because the reason, most people thrift is to save money. It's also to find really cool stuff like the Starbucks cup, but it's mainly to save money. And also it's better for the environment, the blueprint or footprints, waste that's already out there is already wasteful, so why contribute to that? But after today, I literally stopped right here in this aisle. Everything was so overpriced, and I decided right then to not go through the rest of the store because everything was just so highly marked up. Even the used Walmart flip-flops were $8. I'm sorry, honey. They're $5 at Walmart. Brand new. So at this point, I stopped filming and I went straight to the checkout counter and I'm I'm just going to get the clothing because at least that's, $12 a bag. And when I got up there and realized that there's all these hidden fees and all these things that they're excluding from the clothing bag, but don't advertise, I just said, you know what? I don't need anything in the shopping cart. And I just, respectfully said I apologize and I just left. And I don't think I'll ever be back, which is truly sad. But it is what it is. I'm going to link 2 videos here at the end of this video of when I was at this thrift store in the past, so you guys can kind of see maybe a comparison, or if you're interested in seeing some of the older videos I took at this particular thrift store, because this will be the last one. So Thanks for watching, and not to be a bummer, happy thrifting, and I hope you have better luck than this thrift store, because I can't support thrift stores that get price gouge, like especially when you're charging more for items than they are brand new. Like, I just cannot support that. Alright guys, I will see you next time.